You think you know bad video games? You think you've played bad video games? Oh, I know bad video games. I've played some bad video games. Sonic 06, Ride to Hell, Perfect Weapon, I've played them all, brother. But trust me, you haven't seen anything until you've seen Steel Harbinger. Steel Harbinger was released in 1996 by Mindscape for the PS1. It's described as a top-down shooter, though I don't really think it qualifies. At best, it's an isometric-ish shooter. At worst, it's a third-person shooter where you can move in the 8 cardinal directions, but only look in one. Herein lies my first major problem. This thing released in 1996. You with me? Okay. Well, the PS1's DualShock controller, you know, the one with the 2 full analog control sticks, was released in, wait for it, 1997 in Japan. The DualShock didn't see it North American shores until 98. Do you see the inherent problem here? Controlling a shooter with the D-pad just doesn't feel right. Movement doesn't feel as fluid or responsive as it should. It's like trying to control Ryu with a racing wheel. It just doesn't work. I played this using my PS3, and yeah, I could have turned the analog control on, but that wouldn't be very authentic now, would it? And what am I about here at SkipToGame if not authenticity? Getting back to the camera, who the thought it would be a good idea to make the standard view this close up? Enemies can fire at you from technically behind the camera, and you wouldn't know it until you got hit. If you make video games and you're watching this right now, just don't do that. I'm begging you. Thankfully, the camera does pull out to the aforementioned isometric thing, which makes the game much more playable, and I use that term very loosely. Okay, I know you guys have noticed it by now and are probably thinking, why is this idiot babbling about controls? Yes, there is a giant elephant in the room, and its name is FMV. Full motion video is the unfortunate way in which the developers decided to share their story. A lot of the story could have easily been conveyed with some text and maybe some concept art. Even a Star Wars style text scroll would have been better than this. I know FMV was kind of the hot thing in gaming in the 90s, what with Night Trap and things like that, but there's just something about its use in Steel Harbinger that just feels unnecessary. It's like it's too over the top, you know? Like, there's regular cheesy FMV, and then there's Steel Harbinger with its stupid news segment and its Kansas City promo video.
Kansas City, what are you waiting for?
So enough about the quality of these FMVs. What's the story they're trying to tell? Well, I'll give you the rundown, but I won't blame you if you just end up confused. Canada and Mexico all of a sudden decide to sandwich the US and bomb the shit out of it. Then, 28 years later, aliens happen. Yup. The aliens drop these pods all over North America that shoot out tentacles that turn people into biomechanisms. That is the game's term, not mine. Dr. Bowen is studying one of these pods to learn more about the aliens. That's when his daughter Miranda saunters on over, because apparently it's bring your 20-something daughter to work day. The writers show us that she's the innocent type by having her show concern about lab rats.
Dad, why do they have to use mice for the experiments?
And then gaze with wonder at the alien pod. In the twist to end all twists, the pod breaks open and... oh no. Whew, dodged that bullet. But wait! Now poor Miranda has become this scantily clad robot-human hybrid that's apparently called the Steel Harbinger, even though nobody seems to actually call her that. Her dad locks her in a tube, and she only gets out because the base they're at gets blown up by some aliens. Now it's up to her to travel to several different cities and activate the nation's defense grid to prevent any more invasions. And try to save some humans while she's at it, I guess. Did you get all of that? Any questions? Anyone got their hand raised? I just have one question. Why were Canada and Mexico bombing the US? That was just a thing that was happening, and then bam, aliens. Does that not seem weird to anyone else? I mean, sure, it's a bit different from the typical everything was nice and then suddenly aliens storyline, but it's different in a bad way. There was no precursor or reason for why our North American brethren suddenly hated us. They just say there was some sort of great trade war, and then aliens show up. It's just... No, bad game, that's not how we write. You then play through 9 levels of the same, monotonous, downright boring run and gun gameplay. The goal for each stage is largely the same. Find where the switch for the defense grid is and find what you need to turn it on. Sometimes you need to go to a different stage to get a thing, and then come back and use the thing. It's fairly basic game design, and I mean it was an early PlayStation title, so I'm not expecting any miracles here. There just isn't enough variety found in the actual gameplay to make you want to keep going. Steel Harbinger is just another forgotten jewel case from the PS1. It was easily outclassed by other titles at the time, and it doesn't offer much outside of just being something weird to laugh at. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the new video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can hit up those like and subscribe buttons. I mean, those are pretty nice buttons. Feel pretty good to click on. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments below, or just go down there and call me a funny name or something. And feel free to follow me on Twitter as well. I mean, I tweet cool things sometimes. Thanks again for watching, and please, in about 28 years when those aliens decide to show up, stay away from those pods.